Good morning, everyone. Do you ever feel distracted? Do you feel like you get your attention pulled in a bunch of different ways? Well, this morning we are going to go over some notes. I really like this coaching exercise that we're going to do together. All you need is a pen and a piece of paper. I'll be breaking it down on the chalkboard, but we're going to go ahead and do this exercise to help eliminate distractions so we can focus more on the tasks that are actually going to get us to achieve our goals. Usually, it's not even a question of what we need to do, but elimination of the distractions that we keep falling prey to in our daily lives. So, cheer that one. Cheers to that. I love this exercise. It's a good one. It's really great for reducing distractions. So, cheers, friends. Let's get right into it. Thanks. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Taryn Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best person you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. Real quick, I'm going to just make sure I do an audio check. I was having a few technical difficulties this morning. You know how hump day can be. All right, I think we're ready to rock and roll. Awesome. Well, today we're just going to be ripping through my notes. Yesterday was a little rainy. It was a little gloomy. And not that there's anything wrong with taking a day off, but I've noticed myself that there's some patterns that are forming. I think pattern recognition is one of the most powerful human traits that we have, and it can really help serve us in either the right or the wrong direction. But today, specifically, we want to really focus on going in the right direction. So I'm bringing out my journal today because some days I just don't feel like looking at a computer screen anymore. So I go to the journal, try to seclude myself. We got a nice porch and a backyard that I can kind of hang out in. Well, I was on the porch because it was raining yesterday, but just trying to scribble out and think like, okay, like, is there something that's getting in the way? Is there a distraction and stuff? And who knows, even journaling can be a distraction sometimes, but that's not really what made the list. There's a list of these that are bad habits, distractions. I think there's a time and place to do anything, and we'll kind of go through those. But I think knowing the difference of something that is truly getting in the way of us achieving our goals or just taking a healthy break. And what's the difference? I think a question that I want to get on the board. So today this is episode 498, baby. 498, by God. Almost to 500. 500 will be on Friday. It'll be a fun day. We'll do a little bit of celebration. We'll have a special episode. So tune in for that on Friday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. But 498. And this is all about distractions. Distractions. They get us all. People dump billions of dollars into trying to grab our attention. That's really probably another key word here. Having a couple key words here is think of attention. You only get so much. You only get so much time. You only get so much attention. And also our last key word, I think, of the day that I want to get on here is energy. And when we give too much of our attention, then to the distractions, I think we burn out our energy. How is your decision making when you are tired? How is your decision making? Maybe decision making makes the decision making. How is our decision making when we are tired? Do we fall prey? It's kind of like this big loop. So you can kind of think of this as a big circle, and then we can think of the little arrows along the way. It's this big loop pattern. Or this is what I've noticed for myself. So think of these key words on this episode as kind of like this big loop. So we fall prey, we give our attention to distractions to avoid uncomfortability or something like that. And then the distractions drain our energy. And when our energy is drained, we make poor decisions to focus on more distractions or unhealthy habits, these types of things. So you can kind of see how this works into each other. I give my energy to distractions. The distractions drain my energy, and then my decision making gets poor, and then I fall prey to the loop, and then it goes, worse and worse and worse. And then it's been 4 days since you worked out. And then it's been 2 weeks since you made sales calls. And then things are starting to fall apart. So we want to avoid this. This is bad. But I think it all starts with this awareness. So we want to get awareness up here. Do I even know the things that I'm doing? The things that are getting in the way, the things that are stopping me from being able to achieve what I want to achieve. So awareness is something that we want to keep. Awareness to what we are doing in this thought loop. So for me, I've got to break this down into on task, off task. So on the exercise this morning, I want you to go ahead and just make 2 columns: on task, off task. And are we getting closer or farther away from our goal? Are we getting closer to or farther away from our goal? And I'm really speaking from, and we'll get to the point of like, when's it healthy to take a break? When's it like, what's balance? All that stuff. But really, this episode is built, I made it for myself selfishly because I get off task, I get distracted, and I'm feeling a little in a rut. I want to get back on course. So for my fellow entrepreneurs, my friends and stuff who feel like, man, I've kind of gotten off the wagon with this thing. I'm trying to get back on here. I feel like I've been really distracted lately. So I want to raise my awareness and understand what is on task and what is off task and what is getting closer, what helps me get closer to my goal and not farther away. So we have this handy dandy list. This is the on task. This is the good. And over here on the right side, this is the off task. This is the bad. We were literally just going to write out pen to paper on a keyboard on your computer, whatever note-taking device that you prefer. We're just going to get it on and we're just going to see it. We just want to recognize it because our goal today, this morning, is awareness. This keyword, awareness. We got to raise awareness to it because I think there's levels of consciousness. And when we go unconscious, we just fall prey to distraction. We give our attention to distractions. The distractions take our energy. The energy makes for bad decisions in the future, and the loop continues. So be careful. Keep checking back in with this loop. We want to raise awareness to it. So what are the things that are on task and off task? So I'm just going to go back and forth. I made a list, but my list is going to be different than your list. Everyone's schedule is different. Things are, but really just what are the things that are taking away your attention, your energy, and that are distracting you from the things that you want to do. So first thing on task for me would be LinkedIn. This is on task for me. This is good. LinkedIn and specifically Sales Navigator. So I'm just going to put SN, LinkedIn Sales Navigator. This is the tool I use to contact most folks that I try to get for clients. When I'm trying to get podcast guests, when I'm trying to just make connections, tell people about the show, something, I use LinkedIn Sales Navigator. It costs like $100 a month or something like that. It's really good for scraping leads. I highly recommend it. Anyway, LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I use this. Shout out to LinkedIn. All right. For this one, that would be on task. That is good. When I am doing this, I am moving closer to my goals. I like that. Off task, the first one is pot, marijuana. Marijuana, I smoke. I'll sometimes smoke marijuana in the middle of the day as I'm working kind of crazy, but then I get off task and I don't do it. Is some people, it's, man, part of me, like I just like telling the truth, but yesterday, just really wasn't feeling work. So I smoked a little, I smoked a little pint. And then what happened next was I just didn't get back to work. And this is a recurring theme for me, something about, I don't have anything against marijuana, but I personally cannot be productive when I use this drug. So, and what I usually do is I'll smoke pot and then I'll tell myself, oh, I'll just go exercise to help. But really, I'm just avoiding doing sales calls, prospecting, and a lot of stuff that's going to actually generate money for the business. So number one is drugs, watching, bringing that. All right, on to the next one. So on task, the next one for me would be Canva. I create a bunch of stuff on here, whether it's graphics or even you can clip videos on here. I think Canva is an awesome tool, especially for one-person businesses like me, who just like kind of one-stop shop, whether it's YouTube thumbnails, short video clips, presentations, sales decks for things. I think it's that part of the business. A lot of that stuff, if it's more advanced than Canva, then I hire it out. Like I've used graphic designers to make if you work with me and you get our coaching framework and our process, we have a lot of like games and intricate stuff that took a lot more hardcore graphic design. So I outsource that. But for the more of the day-to-day functions on graphic design and this and that, and I also create a lot of stuff for my clients. This is Canva's a great tool for me. So when I'm in this and I'm working on this, this is on task. Perfect. Okay, the next bad one would be, I would say, TV shows. TV. And TV for me would include, say, like shows, movies, and what else did I put down? Sports. So TV shows, movies, and sports. And specifically for me, I fall prey to this on the weekends. Pretty bad. Weekends. And that's not really how I want to spend my time. I don't have anything wrong with taking a break and watching some television, but just really ask yourself, are you getting closer to or farther from your goals when you're watching sports, movies, and shows? It's just the reality of the situation. And maybe if you're stuck in a rut, you might need to pull yourself out of this a little bit and refrain from it. That I like the Jerry Seinfeld method where you don't have to do this. You don't have to do anything. You just can't do that. So I don't want to just sit around and watch. Yesterday, I watched probably 3 hours of a combination of NBA playoff basketball and a show called Alaskan Bush People. These people live out in this mountain and they're wild and they're self-sufficient type deal. Anyway, good television. But that's 3 hours. What could I accomplish in 3 hours? And there was a lot of stuff I didn't do yesterday that I wanted to get done. So being very careful of this, shows, movies, sports on the weekends. That's when and this is something I really want to reduce and eliminate, is that distraction. So that would be off task. That is not getting me closer to my goal. All right, awesome. All right, you're working through your list. You're starting to write things down on your pen and paper of the things that are on task, that are off task, but we're going to keep going forward with personal examples. Okay, so the next one would be on task is writing. And writing for me would include blog and book. Blog, book, or just copy. And copywriting is just, think of the description for this show. Think of social media posts that people write everything out. You know, they'll write 2 lines, space, 2 lines, space, 2 lines, space, all that kind of jazz. That would be copywriting, or on your website, this and that, that's a copy. Anyway, so blog, book, or copy. So writing is on task for me. So if I'm in there, if I'm in Microsoft Word or I'm in a Google Doc, those are my 2 flavors. I'm just ripping away, then that's good. I'm on task. I'm getting closer to my goals and not farther away. Perfect. Next on our distraction list would be podcasts. So it turns out reading and podcasts for me are distractions because I use them to cope. I'll get a little frustrated or uncomfortable. I'll be trying to edit a website. I'll be doing this, be doing sales. I'm like, I just don't want to do this. So I just like lean into a podcast. But the problem with listening to podcasts too much or I'm reading this book on Henry Ford that I like. And if I read too much of it, it takes my attention. And that attention takes my energy. And then as that takes a lot of my energy to I like to listen to Andrew Huberman quite a bit. I think he's a total G. Cal Newport, I really like his stuff. There's a number of people on the internet all the time. I'll even rewatch I don't do this enough, but rewatching some of my own content. I'm trying to get over this weird thing of watching myself on camera. I think we all struggle with it, but it really does help improve the product. Anyway, but the podcasts and the reading take my attention, they take my energy, and then thus hurt my decision-making. The afternoon comes around, and then I'm like, I'll just take a break and I'll smoke some pot and work out or something. And then I'm not working anymore. So you can kind of see the loop and the pattern for me on stuff, but I want you to just try and, in your own situation, okay, am I pulling myself away with too many podcasts? Am I pulling myself away with reading too many books? These are, even though they sound like healthy tasks, these still are distractions, and they're taking your energy and your ability to work on task on the stuff that actually gets you to your goals. Okay, awesome. All right, still rocking and rolling. Let's do another off task. So podcasts, we talked about reading a little bit. I would say exercise. Even exercise for me is a distraction. Exercise. And I think this is all about timing of the day, because I'm never going to stop exercising. I need to do this, but what I am doing is I am avoiding work with exercise. I think there's even a healthy, unhealthy threshold. I'm very proud of my workout routines. I'm very proud of the body I have, that kind of stuff, yada, yada. However, I have been using it as a coping thing to avoid doing like my writing for my book, writing for my blogs, and doing my LinkedIn, my sales and stuff, which these are like, dude, these are the real money making tasks. And if you want to continue to advance your career, but what I'm doing is I'm doing exercise first. Let's go back to the loop. Exercise, I'm using exercise as a distraction. It takes my attention, it takes my energy. And then when I get done lifting, I'm so tired, I'm worked out, then I justify just hanging around, eating, maybe smoking more pot, or turning on the television, or turning on. Realistically, usually what happens is I'll turn on a podcast and I'll have that kind of zone me out, and I'll be reading, which is good. I want to continuously be learning, but you can see I want to put this stuff first. I'm a morning person. I like doing this stuff first. If I get to 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm dead in the water, dude. I am just not a very productive person. So if you ever work with me, we're probably going to meet in the mornings. Anyway, awesome. So on task, off task. Next distraction. Good morning. Good morning. If you're just now joining us, we're going through distractions and talking about the distraction loop that kind of plagues us all. And then activities we want to write down activities that are on task, us getting closer to our goals. And then we want to write down off task. These are the distractions, the bad habits that kind of keep us from achieving and doing the activities throughout the day. Let's do another bad one. I would say smartphone. Smartphone's on here. This one for me has really diminished. I've done a really good job of just reducing my time on my smartphone. I used it as a camera, else I'd show you right now. I turn it gray and black, so there's no color on my phone. And I got rid of all the social media apps except LinkedIn and Instagram. And LinkedIn, because that's where I message people the most, and it's kind of like texting. And then Instagram, because that's the only way I can post archived social media posts, is from the phone app. It's weird. I wish they would just let me do everything from the computer, but apparently they want me to use the phone. So that distracts me sometimes a little bit, but that has gone down dramatically. But I know that the smartphone plagues a lot of us, and it's just so easy to just doom scroll or to just go through stuff more and more and more. So be very careful of the smartphone. That one is a prime thing. I think just getting it out of the room or not having it accessible. For example, I use it as a camera, literally right here, right now. And I can't use it because it's the camera on the video calls, on the recordings, on that. So that's been really helpful for me. Awesome. All right. Do we want to do another on task one before we wrap up here for today? Yeah, let's do one more. So for me, I would just say coaching. Coaching is an on-task activity. I even have some clients right now that I'm working with for free. And because of this, it's just reps for me. It's practice for me, because there's a new model and method I'm trying out with group coaching and with these other exercises I had a graphic designer create for me. So coaching, I believe, is on task for me. But when I'm doing the sales, when I'm doing the writing, when I'm doing the coaching, when I'm creating the designs in Canva, that is on task. I'm getting closer to what it is I want to do. When I am smoking pot, watching TV shows, listening to podcasts, exercising, or smartphones, I'm avoiding the stuff that I know I need to do for the day. And to wrap this up, so now you have your on-task activities, you have your off task, which is essentially just the distractions. Now we can ask ourselves, what is the threshold? So now that you have this and you're thinking, well, Tanner, do I never want to have fun for the rest of my life? Of course not. But I think for me, there came a time where I needed to just, for a couple days, like when I tell myself, all right, I'm not going to smoke pot, I'm not going to watch these shows and this and that. I'm not saying forever, but I'm just saying for a couple days, like get your feet back under you and let's be a big boy, big girl, and let's do the things that are really important right now. Are these things genuinely important? Are these the things that you really want to do? And I think just kind of really affirming and understanding these at a deeper level and just raising that awareness to what we're doing, I think can help eliminate distractions in general. All right, folks, that's kind of all I had for this morning. I wanted to run through a 20-minute banger on just distractions. We made a list of tasks that are good that we want to do. We made a list of tasks that are bad that we want to avoid, just to raise awareness to it. And then additionally, we covered over this loop of just, if we give our attention to something, acknowledge that it's going to take our energy. And when we get our energy taken, we make worse decisions. And when we make worse decisions, we fall into prey of our list of distractions. It's kind of this loop that continues over and over again. So we don't want to be too hard on ourselves. Set some goals on what do you realistically want to get done with that on-task list. Do you want to give, I have 4 on there. Do I want to give 1 hour to each? Do I want to give 10 minutes to each? And then once I complete those, then I forgive myself and then I can go work out or listen to a podcast. What's balance for you? If you need help understanding that or discovering that, you can always go to my website, oneplp.com, and we can set up a free call if you'd want to brainstorm and have some fun with it. I'm always hoping to chat with people for free. But just understand when we're on task, understand when we're off task, and then where we get trapped up in this loop. And hopefully this pattern, this exercise can help you eliminate distractions so you can be more on task. You can do the things that really matter to you more often so you can achieve your goals and live your dream life. Thanks so much, folks. If you enjoyed this episode and you thought this was helpful for just raising awareness to your distractions and some of your own defeating patterns, share this with somebody else who you think could benefit. It means the world to me as we're trying to spread zero-cost information to just help people be better people. I love you all. I'm out for today. I got to bounce. I got a couple coaching sessions I got to scram to, but you guys, don't let the distractions get you. I know it's tough out there. But just raising awareness and getting a little bit every day and try not to beat ourselves up too much and have some fun. A smile goes a long way, folks. A smile goes a long way. So cheers to that. Love you all. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time with another episode of the Tanner Morning Show. Cheers, friends. Peace.